Chapter 3.
Hey, stop!
Dad screamed.
What are you doing?
I stood there, frozen in shock. Molly squeezed my hand. Mom and Dad both grabbed the bars of the yellow gate and tried to slide it open. But it had snapped shut. We were trapped inside. Flames rose high over the suitcases. The cases burned like paper, turning brown then black under the darting flames.
Are you crazy? You can't do that.
Dad screamed.
All our belongings, everything we brought.
He tugged at the bars. I peered through the gate. The horror had vanished.
Calm down,
Mom said, holding onto his shoulder.
Come on, Sean, calm down. It has to be a joke.
Right, I said. It's special effects, Dad. Don't lose it. We just got here. Bet you $1 million our bags will be at the hotel when we get there. The four of us gazed through the bars. Our cases were black and charred. Flames burned over our clothes, making a sizzling, crackling sound. I spun around when I heard a horn honk. A long yellow taxi squealed to a stop beside us. In big black letters on the side, it read, "Last Ride Cab Company." A horror stuck his head out of the driver's window. "Crosby family, ready for your last ride? All aboard!" he called. He had a high, scratchy voice. He reached back and pulled open the back door for us. All four of us squeezed into the back seat. The brown leather was cracked and faded. The car smelled kind of sour. "Buckle up!" the horror said, making the engine roar. We all reached behind us. "There aren't any seat belts," Molly said. "No problem," the horror muttered. "I've got mine buckled."
Is it a long ride?
Dad asked. "I know a shortcut," he said. The taxi lurched forward. Molly grabbed my arm. As we picked up speed, I stared out at the park. It rolled by so fast, it was mostly a blur of bright colors and faces. I saw some kids running from a giant roaring gorilla, and we passed under a ride where kids were sitting on huge bats, their wings flapping as they circled the sky. A red and black sign on the front of a very tall building read, "Vampire State Building, Blood Donors Welcome." Across the road, I glimpsed a tiny shack with a sign out front, "Worm and Bait Shop, all you can eat." We passed a crowded outdoor theater. Outside, a sign read, "TV's hit show, Dancing with the Squids." Squinting out the window, I saw 3 kids on stage wrestling with giant squids twice their size. "Can we skip that one?" Molly asked. "It's a lot of fun," the driver said, "unless they sit on you." He slowed the taxi as we swerved through a crowd of kids in scout uniforms. "Don't want to mow down too many scouts," he said in his scratchy voice. "They complain if I hit more than 2 or 3 of them." The road got narrow and bumpy as we entered what looked like a swamp with tangled palm trees and tall ferns. The car zoomed forward and my head hit the roof with each hard bump.
Ow! Could you slow down a little?
Mom asked. The driver didn't answer. His eyes were on the controls. He spun the wheel one way, then the other. The taxi bumped off the road into tall grass. The tires slid and spun in the mud. The horror yanked the wheel from side to side. He pumped hard on the brakes again and again. "It's busted! I knew this would happen!" he cried. "I warned them at the garage!" "Ow!" I yelled as we hit a deep hole. Ferns and tree branches smacked the windows as we sped over the marshy grass. "This is no joke!" the horror cried. "Look!" He spun the wheel completely around.
What's wrong?
Dad cried. "The steering and the brakes are out," the horror said. "I can't control this thing." We bumped over something hard. The car jerked up, then down again. We picked up speed. It was all a green blur outside the window. "This isn't part of the deal," the horror said. "They promised they'd fix it." He pumped the brakes a few more times, but the car roared ahead.
I'm really sorry, folks. This never happened before,
he said.
I'm really sorry to do this.
I cried out as he shoved open his door. He let go of the steering wheel, turned his body, and, screaming his head off, dove from the car. I saw him tumble through the tall grass. His open car door scraped against thick vines and tree limbs as we roared past. Faster, bumping and lurching, the four of us bounced with every bump, helpless in the back seat, unable to reach the controls. Then I saw the red brick wall rise up in front of us. I opened my mouth to scream, but Molly beat me to it.
We're going to hit it,
she wailed.
We're going to crash!